Hey everyone, this is Josh from before. I'm here with the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Death Metal Superman. This is part of the Darkfather Build-A-Fig wave. And if you've been watching the channel recently, you know I've been reviewing the past wave that they've just got done with, which was very heavy on repaints and variants. So I've been really looking forward to diving into this wave because it feels like the Last Night on Earth wave was the last time McFarlane was having fun with this line. You know, those repaints and variants, they just it's not, it's not that they're phoned in. It just, you can tell there's nothing really exciting about them. Like you could tell that they weren't as excited about those figures as they were with that Last Night on Earth wave, because they did a lot of new stuff. And we're experimenting with new, styles and methods of how, the materials and how they go about engineering these figures. So I've been looking forward to that, and this is gonna shock some of you probably. I'm actually like super stoked to look at this Superman. Everybody's clowning on him because he looks, like Glenn Danzig. And the face and stuff like that. People have been talking a lot of crap about this guy. I like it. I think it's like fun and silly and kind of stupid in all the right ways. And I don't know. I just kind of am stoked to look at this guy. They've been putting just pictures on the back of the toys, which is kind of whatever to me. I mean, there's a lot of great artwork they could have gone with. I mean, especially if you're like one of the people that collect the cards. I don't collect the cards, but just, I don't know, a product shot of the toy isn't the most exciting thing in the world. Here is that, if you're trying to hunt him down. But let's just get to him, and let's see if he's as fun or if he's as stupid as he looks. First thing, I'm a little worried about how they got these like tassels just kind of crammed in here. That, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the ideal packing method, but we'll find out if these things are bent and warped or what. So I gotta say, I think one of the things people kind of forget or overlook, or maybe don't quite wrap their heads around properly about death metal, is that it's really funny and it's really kind of dumb, like on purpose. The Dark Knight's metal took itself a little more seriously, and then death metal was just straight like clowning with, some of the designs and the characters and the versions of the characters that they included. And I people see this guy and they're like, are they serious? They seriously like think that's cool? Well, kind of yes and kind of no. Like, they're kind of not serious about it. And that's just like, that's why death metal I thought was way more fun to read than Dark Knight's metal, just because they were just like throwing, it was like the kitchen sink approach. They were just throwing every wild idea they could into that thing, and it was just fun and silly. So already these tassel things are kind of springing back into place the way they should be. I don't know if that's supposed to actually be going forward. That, I guess it is, yeah. This is interesting. This is loose on there. That's kind of fun. So first thing I'll tell you, that's the same torso from Infected Superman and Bizarro as well, which is a slightly less egregious because it's just the torso, and also just because both Infected Superman and Bizarro had capes. So having no cape on there kind of does help it not just look like the same thing repurposed again. But I do think, all right, that's 3 times now. I think it's time to retire this torso, guys. Like, don't stop throwing the same things at us. And actually, you can see they've re-sculpted the edges of there, so it looks like his shirt's torn. which is great. Obviously, this is kind of extra funny to me because like I had this old roommate who was like in a lot of punk bands and stuff, and this actually looks just like him, so this is kind of extra amusing to me. He's got this big head of hair. He got a nice head of hair. I mean, the sculpt of it looks really nice. It's flat. I almost feel like they could have stood to do like the highlights like they did on Nightwing's hair, like, you know, kind of blue highlights to give it a little bit more dimension. But it's less glossy than that original Superman head right there, which helps. That first Superman, his hair is just a little got too much of a sheen on it. I love that they've put this butterfly piece in here with skin tone on it. It really does look looks like his shirt's torn. It's cool. It's fun. It just feels like you can make fun of this design all you want. It's silly and out there, but this figure just feels like they were having fun. He's got these Spawn style chains around his waist that are asymmetrical. This guy's designed by Greg Capullo, so it feels at home with a McFarlane toy sculpt of it. So this is interesting, and I think it's actually really cool. He's got this dark side infected arm, right, which is just slightly beefier, ever so slightly, just got a little bit bigger bicep. So this human arm, well, not Kryptonian, I guess, but the human arm has a double elbow, and he's got this wrapped thing around his wrist. This arm, this dark side arm, has a single elbow, but if it's what I think it is, it's got a swivel on it. I was just talking about this on the Kickstarter Spawn. If they did this with a double elbow, I'm sure they would get some more clearance, but because it's a little beefier, it almost wouldn't be worth just having two ugly pins in it. So they got the one pin, they got a swivel there. I like that. And then this wrist, instead of a ball joint, it's actually, like sculpted into the wrist, but still has the same functionality as a ball joint. It seems a little loose actually, but it looks so much better, than a ball joint. You know what I mean? I love that. I really like that. Some people are going to complain about that because they're articulation snobs and they act like if every single figure doesn't have the same homogeneous articulation points, then it's a failure, but it's not true. This is actually cool and fun. Let's see if so they've been experimenting a little bit lately with like softer rubber material for the head, and it doesn't feel like they've gone this way here. I've already seen some people like try to sit like, oh, this head actually has a lot of range. They've already, because the head I think is the most common complaint. The head sculpt. This head doesn't look that bad. Everybody's complaining about this head. People are trying to do customs where they adjust the shape of it. This doesn't look bad. This is like every other McFarlane where the product photos look like, ooh, that looks like shit. And then they come out and it's like, all right, we were worried over nothing. This looks great. I love his leather pants. I think they're hilarious. He's got a fairly prominent bulge right there, which God bless him. That's Superman. Definitely packing heat in those leather pants, if you catch my drift. Double knees. Don't have a ton of range because of this big old chunky boots, which that one goes maybe a little bit further got a little more clearance. I love these boots. I think they're awesome. I wish they had a little more paint. I think that would have gone a long way, but I think these are super cool. And they're just, because I just like, I just really like all my characters on the shelf to just look different, have a different silhouette, a different body style. You know what I mean? I just don't want everything looking all samey. It just gets boring, and characters just don't stand out as much when they look just like everyone else standing right next to them. That is part of why I'm so enthusiastic about this really silly, dumb ass looking Superman. I think it's funny and fun, which is what I think what toys are supposed to be, you know, fun. This has got well, even with his chains and stuff, the chains are flexible. He can get up here fairly high. Oh, he's got, yes, this is what I'm always talking about, guys. Everyone complains. Everyone says, Todd, you need to put thigh cuts in these multiverse figures. Not when they have this clearance. They have this swivel right here in the hip. So you lift his leg and he's still, see, this is awesome. This is awesome. And what it comes down to is the way they sculpt, the way they tool, how much they carve out of the like butt under there. Because if it's too substantial, like if they don't carve out enough, then it just gets in the way and it doesn't actually move. But with this, look at this. See, they do these Build-A-Fig waves, and it feels like they just have more fun, and they push the limits of what they can do and what to expect. The toe articulation is like at the midpoint of the foot, which I don't know if that's how foots work, but that's okay. I'll give that one a pass. Just big chunky boots with spikes and ribbons wrapped around them and buckles on it. It really could use a wash though, because these things are rad. And I haven't even looked at the extra hands yet, so let's get those out. Actually, no, sorry. Before I get the new hands out, let's just look at these hands. He's got these big brass knuckle sort of thing on his dark side hand with the Superman logo on there. Focus, come on. Looks pretty good. Fist hand, but let me get these other ones out. So, you know, those fist hands are great, but I really, anytime they give us a kind of a gesture hand, an uncommon sort of hand shape, I gotta go with the uncommon ones just because they're outside the norm. So let me put these on real quick. This is a ball joint, so it probably just works like we expect. Nice and sturdy peg on that, which is nice. And then let's see how this one works. Yeah, it's got a kind of a bigger sort of plug thing for this thicker hand, which is probably part of why it was kind of loose in there. Oh, this one actually, see it, it's like, well, no, never mind. When you put it in like that, it seems like it fills that cavity a little bit better, but so I like this hand. It kind of feels like he's sort of like adjusting his like knuckle duster on there, like he's about getting ready to clock you. Again, just you know, these gesture hands, I love them because they look like you can assign any sort of emotion or intention to it. You know, whether he's like, I'm about to break your neck, or he's like, alas, my tragic, you know, backstory was such that has affected my emotions, and I'm conflicted, or whatever, you know. You know what I mean. So the Dark Father pieces, I'm going to do Dark Father in his own video, so I won't get those out here. If you can't tell, I love this thing. I think he, you know, I was maybe biased coming in because I just didn't hate this design like everybody else did, but this guy's fun, man. And like he's definitely got presence, but I think he's definitely going to sort of be in I got to put him on a flight stand for sure. I love characters that you can put them on flight stands or jumping or flying poses, but they don't have a cape, because sometimes the sculpt of the cape kind of narrows you down with what sort of you can achieve, because the capes don't always, there can be pre-posed and therefore not you can't, the expression is kind of built in, and you can't, you're limited in what you come up with. But this is just, this guy's gonna work in any kind of pose, if you want him with the fist hand, he's about to knock you out, or what have you. You don't need me to explain how to pose figures. That's it, guys. I don't know. What do you think? Do you hate this? Do you think he's actually kind of cool? I mean, I want to hear your take on it, because obviously I know I'm in the minority with thinking this guy's really rad and fun. But I'm open to all opinions. So you let me know. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I appreciate all the messages, the comments, the subscribers. This has been a real blast making these videos for you guys and talking about these toys with you. And I will see you next time. Bye.